Never lose, should've had better luck. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Level up, level up. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Never lose, should've had better luck. I'ma wake 'em up from a slumber. Money ain't nothing but a thing, and the level ain't nothing but a number. Life ain't nothing but a game. Level up, level up. Never lose, should've had better luck. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. I wanna ball. Waking up meant that he gave me a chance and I'm rolling the dice. I do it all. Living like I'm trying to go for the platinum trophy in life. Who can you call? Really nobody, so you should just follow me on your device. And know if she chillin' with me, then it's bound to be chemical X and the sugar and spice. Game in the system, but game is the hobby. I'm probably cocky, but hot as wasabi. I mean, if it's beef, then you know where to find me. My niggas is ready and so is my body. You should be running and telling your posse and what's in the speakers and what's in your potty. And she trying to kick it, but this ain't karate. Just keep that shit down while I'm watching Tsunami. I ain't saying I'm a super nerd, but I told you when we got involved, my idea of a perfect date is a PlayStation and some alcohol. I was role playing on GTA. I'm a good guy, but I got it all. If the world should end, be the first to leave, but the last of us acting naughty, dog. Level up, level up. Never lose, should've had better luck. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Level up, level up. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Never lose, should've had better luck. I'ma wake 'em up from a slumber. Money ain't nothing but a thing, and the level ain't nothing but a number. Life ain't nothing but a game. Level up, level up. Never lose, should've had better luck. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Never lose, should've had better luck. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Level up, level up. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Never lose, should've had better luck. I'ma wake 'em up from a slumber. Money ain't nothing but a thing, and the level ain't nothing but a number. Life ain't nothing but a game. Level up, level up. Never lose, should've had better luck. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. I wanna ball. Waking up meant that he gave me a chance and I'm rolling the dice. I do it all. Living like I'm trying to go for the platinum trophy in life. Who can you call? Really nobody, so you should just follow me on your device. And know if she chillin' with me, then it's bound to be chemical X and the sugar and spice. Game in the system, but game is the hobby. I'm probably cocky, but hot as wasabi. I mean, if it's beef, then you know where to find me. My niggas is ready and so is my body. You should be running and telling your posse and what's in the speakers and what's in your potty. And she trying to kick it, but this ain't karate. Just keep that shit down while I'm watching Tsunami. I ain't saying I'm a super nerd, but I told you when we got involved, my idea of a perfect date is a PlayStation and some alcohol. I was role playing on GTA. I'm a good guy, but I got it all. If the world should end, be the first to leave, but the last of us acting naughty, dog. Level up, level up. Never lose, should've had better luck. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Level up, level up. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Never lose, should've had better luck. I'ma wake 'em up from a slumber. Money ain't nothing but a thing, and the level ain't nothing but a number. Life ain't nothing but a game. Level up, level up. Never lose, should've had better luck. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Never lose, should've had better luck. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Level up, level up. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Never lose, should've had better luck. I'ma wake 'em up from a slumber. Money ain't nothing but a thing, and the level ain't nothing but a number. Life ain't nothing but a game. Level up, level up.
Oh, you're muted this whole time? No, I don't know. That I just seen that. I don't know.
I was muted. I was muted. I was muted. I was. That happened.
We were
Mutiny
just
gang!
we did that
It's a
on
mutiny.
purpose. We were just making sure Chow was paying attention.
Yep. Just make sure you're paying attention. So, what's going
Thing
on,
down,
people?
flip it in
Fame
reverse.
Entertainment here from level1gaming.com. And congratulations, you guys leveled up to 193. This is the Double XP podcast. Thank you guys for rocking with us once again. We got a lot to talk about tonight. PlayStation apparently being doomed, according to a financial analyst. We got some Forspoken gameplay. Halo Season 2 details are out, and more things are delayed, and more topics to discuss. Before we get going, let's get started with the introductions. Per usual, the man with the clamps, Citizen Snips.
What's going on, everybody? Glad to be here. We got lots to talk about, so I'm gonna keep my intro short. Just happy to have y'all with us.
Next up, if your DMs is popping, your email box is full, and he's asking for product placement in his left hand because his right hand is always full as well. Baron J67, the communications director, level1gaming.com. What's going on, Chief?
You know what? I'm just here to put in my formal resignation. You heard it here first. Link start. I'm checking out on y'all. I'm not playing with y'all no more. I just got my Oculus Quest 2. It's over. It's the 256 gigs. I don't know if that'll carry my weight. I don't know what the weight capacity is on gig per square pound, but I'm out, y'all. Like I can't wait. I'm trying to figure out which world to get lost in first and neglect all my real life responsibilities. But I'm gaming.
And by the way, he's blaming his hair for having to get the strap to extend it so it can fit on his head, but his head is big as hell. That's really
I already bought the extendo clip.
I'm just playing.
I bought the already. Yeah, no, I bought the extendo clip. Yeah, and then if you notice, this was a planned thing. I even got braids this time. I didn't get twists. I'm ready for this. This is a lifestyle choice, guys.
Next up, with the crispiest camera you've ever seen.
Facts.
One of my favorite guys on social media. He's also part of Level 1 Gaming family. Incredible writer, incredible content creator. One of the prettiest motherfuckers you ever gonna see in your life. KP, what's going on, Chief?
What's going on? Happy to be back.
He's like, yeah.
That's it.
You know why I'm here. You know why I'm here. Yeah, I'm here. Yeah. He hit us with the Marshawn Lynch. You know why I'm here. He hit us with that. And I don't know if we got Dallas. He's deaf, so I don't think he's here. But KP, man, per usual, bro. Again, I'm happy that you're here rocking with us, man. We got a lot to talk about tonight. But for really quickly, for those who do not know a little bit about yourself, man, who is KPCJ?
Former professional DOA player. I love technology. Yeah, that's me in a nutshell. So I love tech, love writing about tech, love telling people what's the best thing to buy. I'm not biased at all, so I'm going to give you the straight stuff, straight to the point. And yeah, like I said, I love gaming also. I'm here to, just to inform people about the greatness of technology.
This is dope, and super knowledgeable. I'm pretty sure he knows more about tech than all of us combined in this room. Super grateful to have you. And I know you had lots of stuff to do, but you decided to hang out with us tonight, so I really appreciate you coming through. Again, KP's family. If you ever want to read of his content, level1gaming.com. It's up there for you guys to read and check out. He does great work. Definitely somebody you want to follow. I'll have a link to his Twitter in the description down below, so make sure you go give this guy a follow. He posts lots of who is that? You be that one GIF you always post. Who is that? You be
Top of the
yeah. Who is that?
Yeah, that's a singer, Tina Campbell.
There you go. Lots of Tina Campbell gifs.
Yeah.
All the time. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Something's going on with KP.
I thought you was making fun of Dallas's his emote character. Yeah. Hi.
Oh, so now listen, we're gonna jump right into it. Hopefully, Dallas gets us going. I switched the headband. We're wearing blue today in honor of PlayStation because lots of PlayStation content, lots of PlayStation things to talk about. So I went from the gray to the black to the blue because I had to represent, baby. Because we're talking lots of PlayStation today, and we're gonna start off with Michael Pachter. Now, just recently, he was on the RDX podcast, that is Diller and Coach podcast. I believe they're both their podcast, but it's on Diller's channel. And an interesting topic came up, and it kind of goes along the line of some of the things that Baron on this very podcast has said a multitude of times. Now, if you want to go and get this clip, please go over to the RDX podcast. I will drop a link for that as well. I'll actually find a clip on Twitter as well for you guys to check out so you can get right to it. But again, this isn't verbatim, so kind of give you guys a roundabout idea of what he was saying, and he was saying basically over the next 10 years, PlayStation is doomed. It will be no more because it won't be able to compete with the Game Passes and things like that of the world. He wanted to say, yes, right now, PlayStation has the lead in console sales, but moving forward, they're going to have an issue because it's not about the consoles no more. It's about beyond the consoles. And Microsoft already has such a big lead with Game Pass. Last reported, there was 25 million Game Pass subscribers. I know some people like to say that that's inflated because of the, hey, get Game Pass for $1. I don't quite subscribe to that method because they wouldn't have put that number out if so many people did it for $1 and never came back. So I do want to start with you, Baron, because this is something that you have been on for a while. It's something that you've stood by, and a lot of times I've kind of like gritted my teeth, like he can't be serious about this. But your thoughts on Michael Pachter pretty much saying that PlayStation is doomed?
I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna jump in front of the doom part. No, I don't think they're doomed. PlayStation, in my opinion, has always been the iPhone of the gaming space. The Apple of the gaming space. It's not necessarily the absolute best out there, but it's touted as such, and they use a lot of technology from other people, their competitors, which is very much like Apple. We know this with cameras and whatever. We're not going to go all the way there. But what I've always believed, especially if profit is everything, we know consoles don't sell at a profit. We know hardware does not sell at a profit. Like they don't make their money from that. They make their money from the subscriptions. They make their money from the software purchases, and microtransactions, this, that, and the third. We know that's where the money is, right? So my school of thought has always been, we've seen it happen with Sega. You know, they like, if profit is the overall thing, you make some of the best, if not, you make the best 10 to 20 hour experience games, no questions asked. You make that, like, I'm talking cinematic experiences. When I talk about it to people, they think I watched a movie, like, and I played it, and some of my most memorable moments have been in these games that are created on the platform and for the platform. But we're moving, it's really a content race now. It's a content war. It's not a console war. And I've felt PlayStation they're getting a late start. And unless they do something really dramatic, which I don't see them doing because it would be kind of jarring. And it's hard for me to imagine them doing it. But unless they do something just crazy jarring with a streaming service, like let's say Spartacus comes out swinging and it's literally a PlayStation version of Game Pass. Like, it's just PlayStation's. Then okay, maybe all of this goes out the window and they figure it out. But I mean, the store still sucks. It's the small stuff they just are not doing right that fits in this new world that we're going towards when it comes to gaming. And I just feel like it'd be cheaper and more profitable for them to just go straight software. Just make games for everybody.
So,
like, just pull a Sega, make games. Like, you wouldn't have to worry about any hardware. And remember, and people forget, PlayStation came out with a streaming console thing called the PlayStation TV that they tried to push. And they've tried it already. They was the first. And it just didn't work because it didn't fit for that time. But now, if they were to reintroduce that, it wouldn't be, I mean, you can't make enough PS5s. So maybe I don't know, but that's just my pie in the
So
sky wild thought.
let me say this. First off, if you're in the chat, shout out to Floor Hugger. Sis, what's going on? Javier
What
McCann, I see
up?
you in that Chocolaka. Jay, Steph, Sus Gang is in the building. First off, you guys
Sus.
do us a big favor. Hit that like button if you haven't already. Share the stream out. Then also in the comment section, let us know what you're thinking about Michael Pachter saying PlayStation is doomed. So I want to get that out the way. But Baron, I'm gonna come back to you before I switch over to KP because in my mind, doesn't it seem more as if Microsoft is headed more towards the Sega route than PlayStation?
Yes. Yes, and that more so yes, because hell, the last couple games to launch on their competitors' console was made by their studios. I mean, Deathloop, no, you know what I mean? Like it's and then if I'm not mistaken, the next game to come out this month, Ghostwire Tokyo. That's
Which
Xbox as well.
check out our review for that coming later on this month.
Yes, sir. We got somebody playing it now. But it's absolutely so. Yes, once again, it's going content war. So, and Xbox is not even trying to sell us the console. I don't think I've seen any new commercials regarding buying Xbox Series X.
I don't think
It's
I
all
haven't seen one
been.
in a long time.
That's what I'm saying. Since launch, they haven't even marketed the console. They want you to buy the service. I'm still waiting to see Samsung TVs coming out with Xbox controllers and 3 months of Game Pass Ultimate attached to it. Like you go to the store, you go to Best Buy and walk in, it's gonna have a controller. Like you get to buy your TV and get a combo pack, and it's gonna have like a color controller. That's what I'm waiting on because that's the route it's going. So I don't know. I just in terms of if it's all about making profit, which we know these businesses, that's everything. Profit, profit, profit. It makes more sense just for them. They would get rid of research and development. They'd get rid of manufacturing of consoles, shipment, all of this stuff. It would cut costs ridiculous, and it would just be pure profit.
Shout out to Chocolaka who's in the chat. Yes, Chocolaka is allowed to say publicly that he is reviewing Ghostwire Tokyo. He'll also have a preview out later next week. Early next week, he'll have a preview out. So make sure you guys keep it locked to this channel. Also, LV1Gaming.com, because he will have a preview out on our YouTube talking about his experience up to a certain point. But KP, I want to switch over to you. I feel like you got some fantastic points to make. So Michael Pachter, American analyst, he says that PlayStation is doomed because of what's happening with Microsoft and what they're doing with Game Pass. What do you subscribe to? Do you subscribe to that notion of PlayStation being so far behind in this streaming subscription base that it's going to hurt them long form?
First of all, Michael Pachter has always been known to be one of those analysts that's kind of like always doom and gloom. Everything he says is like, "Oh, this is going to happen," and it never happens.
True.
So, I agree that they need to change and need to introduce better services and all that. I do disagree that they should stop making consoles. I don't think they're going to be doomed or gloomed. Like I think console means a lot to the PlayStation brand. Nintendo it has the same. Nintendo and Sony kind of play a similar game. Those Sony kind of compete more on with Xbox and doing more on that side. But the console sales still matters to Sony. Now they're making. I don't know what the profit is off the PS5 console, but they're actually making a little bit of profit now from it. It didn't take as long as expected. So there's profit there, but also like the PlayStation brand itself makes a bulk of Sony's finances. Like, the Sony has a camera division that does not sell as well as a PlayStation. Cameras are expensive and it's kind of a niche, still kind of a niche kind of thing. So, but I think the whole idea of saying, oh, Sony is doom and gloom. No, if they don't change their practices, they may get hurt a little bit. But in terms of where gaming is going and Sony partner with Microsoft with Azure and doing all that, I think they are heading. They realize, well, we got to change some things, and they're changing it. It just like it took a while. When they bought Baron mentioned it when they bought the company. Was it Galkai or something like that? a
Yeah.
while back. They had that, and it was just too early. A lot of companies do that. Microsoft is big for introducing something too early that nobody likes, the Xbox One, and now it looks like
I
we
got my
like I said
Connect
this
right
before.
now.
The Xbox One was
It's a
it's
gen
like
too early.
introduced. It was a
Yep.
generation too early. Now
Yep.
everything is, hey Siri, hey Alexa, hey Google. Oh shit! Don't say nothing, Google.
Yeah, right. Look.
I got one right here. But that's just the generation we're in, and that was introduced early. PlayStation, their online TV thingy was introduced early, but now they're seeing like people are starting to get into that space. You got Amazon; they've officially launched Luna, so PlayStation
Mhm.
eventually is going to. I mean, they have PlayStation now, and honestly speaking, it's not as bad as people try to portray it.
Yeah.
Like you got way more games than what Xbox Game Pass is
Mhm.
offering. Only thing is
Better games
missing
too, to
is
be honest.
yeah. I'm
Just
just
being
gonna be
real.
on like
Yeah.
PlayStation has it. It's just like PlayStation now just got a bad rep when it first came out. It was too expensive.
It was streaming only
Just,
when it first came out.
streaming are only. The servers kind of sucked. You only could stream at 720p. So it's like now it's growing. Now they got Azure. Like to be honest, if I cared more about PlayStation game like exclusive titles, PlayStation Now would probably be to me like looking trying to put my PlayStation fanboy glasses on. It actually looks more enticing than Game Pass. Now, if Sony was to say, "Hey, let's start putting days game like day one, like our day
Oh, it's
one
a wrap.
exclusives in there," I,
I'm gonna sign up.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
sign up, and I would
Just being
probably
real.
spend more time on my PlayStation than my Xbox because, well, I'm not getting into that. But yeah, I think Sony has once they start changing and start doing more, and it's going to take time, and they want to make sure their money is going into the right spaces, and they're building out their metaverse with their Spider-Man movies. So I don't see them being doom and gloom. The PlayStation brand will be here for a while, and Oculus, yeah, I'm not going to get into that, Barry.
One thing about Sony and PlayStation, they have their adaptability is at a 99 rating, 99, right? They'll see Xbox to get heat for certain things that they end up doing later on, but they'll let Xbox take all the heat for it and be like, yeah, by the way, going back to the PlayStation 3 days, hey, here's party chat, or here's paying for online now. Like they'll let Xbox get all the heat for it first, and then they'll do it by the time no one seems to care anymore.
Kind of like Apple and Android. Like Android Android had this feature for 5 years. Apple comes in and perfect it.
And that's all people know is that Apple did it. Look, yeah. And
PlayStation marketing is great too, like in comparison to Xbox.
it is, and we're going to talk about that because even today's event is a great example of that marketing. But Snips, I want to go over to you, man. Your thoughts, and again, KP hitting the nail on the head. Michael Pachter, right? As lauded as his name can be, he gets a lot of things wrong, but is noteworthy. So Snips, I want to move over to you and your thoughts on this analyst saying PlayStation will be doomed over the next 10 years because they're so far behind in the subscription streaming service that we seem to be headed to.
So y'all pay attention more to this stuff than I do, but out of curiosity, when's the last time y'all had any reason to talk about this Michael Pachter guy?
Almost anytime he talks about the space,
I'm saying, do you remember when like the last time people were talking about him? What, like it's been months,
sometime
years?
last year. I don't remember what it was in particular, but he can't.
Consoles are dead. I think was like the last time.
About Activision.
So this to me is a cry for relevancy. This is, man, nobody's talking about me. I better say something shocking so that they pay attention to my name again. I don't know this guy's credentials as a financial analyst. That's fine. I do know that he doesn't see enough of Sony or PlayStation's numbers to be able to make any sort of prediction of where the company's at financially. He can see what they paid for Bungie, and he can see publicly reported numbers like gross profits, revenues, that kind of thing. But that's it. So I don't know. This prediction to me just sounds like a bunch of smoke, especially when you're making a prediction 10 years down the line. Anytime you're making a prediction that's that far out, I'll call it the Nostradamus effect. It's by the time this comes to fruition, nobody's going to remember what I said 10 years ago anyway, so it's not going to matter. That's why this to me just screams a cry for relevancy. And it assumes that PlayStation is going to do absolutely nothing different over the course of the next 2 years, which is stupid again to begin with. I mean, name the last time you saw any major corporation of this size fall to failure. It just doesn't happen. They usually find ways to either change their business model or get a bailout or get bought by somebody. I don't know. The whole thing just screams to me of, everybody look at me, pay attention to me, start saying my name and talking about me again. That's what I get from it. So I think Sony knows better than him what their plan is and what they need to work on. It's not like he's the only smart guy in the room. Okay, they've got intelligent people working for that company as well. That's why they've been so successful for their lifespan. They've got moves in the works. They're working on things. They're doing things. They're not going to sit back and just be like, oh, geez, Microsoft got a lead on Game Pass. I guess that's it for us, guys. We'll just hang in here for 10 years, and then we'll all get severance and go about our separate ways. And you know, that's about all we can do. So I think the whole thing's a load of crap. Sony's going to do what they need to do. As far as trying to predict the future of gaming, as far as how relevant consoles will be in the next 10 years, it's too difficult to say, man. Technology is constantly evolving at a rate that just exponentially gets faster and faster. So there could be something that makes consoles irrelevant, and then the very next year there could be something that makes them relevant again because some new hardware technology came out that works better on an individual level, and it's incredible, and it puts to shame whatever made consoles irrelevant. So we'll just have to wait and see. But as far as his whole bold prediction, cool. Go tell it to your friends. Find someone who cares. It's not me.
And you know what's crazy? The Xbox dongle is starting to pick up steam again as far as it being a real thing. And it kind of goes back to what Baron was saying earlier about, you know, your Samsung TV coming with a controller, you know, or you can see it coming with that dongle that does streaming only. So
I was about to say I have the little wireless receiver dongle for a Xbox
for the controller, right? Yeah. So apparently there's one that's going to be you plug into your TV, almost like a la PlayStation TV,
Fire Stick,
right? Or Fire Stick, the Fire Stick, yeah. And you play your games off of it, and it to me it goes to show how fickle we are as gamers. Things that we hated 2 years ago, we're gonna love next year. KP pointed out the Xbox One, right? People killed it for, and granted so, because when it was shown off more for TV stuff, right? Than it was gaming, all TV. But now everyone's, hey this, hey that, hey this, hey that. They're all about that interconnectivity with their applications, with their life. PlayStation TV, you know, we're starting to see some of those things come to fruition now that people hated before, but like now, and that's why it's so hard to predict the future gaming, because we're fickle, right? We're not consistent. We're not truly consistent on what we like. We're KP say, not me. As a whole, I think we're fickle, and our opinions change on certain devices based on who presented it and how they presented it. Right? I think that's the key. Who presented it? If Amazon comes out talking about a console right now, no one's going to care because it's Amazon, right? Big bag Amazon. No one cares, right? And that's the who. You know, the what is going to be whatever the future, you know, brings to us. But we're fickle and we care a lot. Maybe not purposely, subconsciously, we care a lot about who's presenting it, because again, Microsoft gets a lot of flack for things they do until PlayStation does it. And it's not a PlayStation versus Xbox thing, because they are the Apple of the gaming space. They really, everything they see is that's something new that's never been done before, and they're doing it the best. It's a status thing, right? People think, oh, I got an iPhone. Oh, you have an Android? Like, yeah, bro, I have a Galaxy S21. Now it's an old phone, but when it came out, it was smoking your iPhone. Like, it's a status thing, you know. But Dallas, I see we got you back, man. I wanted you to get the last word on PlayStation being doomed, according to American Insider. I don't know why I'm calling them American Insider. Michael Pachter.
That's just the news title, the American Insider. That's like the thing. That's the thing that goes inside of the in the lower third when somebody shows it on their channel. But I don't know, man. I don't think. No, once again, like none of us can predict the future, right? But we do know all it takes is for like just to kind of piggyback off what I was saying earlier, all it really takes is one service to be popularized before the market moves in that direction, because that's where they see dollar signs, right?
Mm-hmm.
As far as PlayStation is concerned, and I think they know this already, but what they really need to do, the games are there, right? Maybe release them at at a higher frequency, but like when they come out, and people go get them no matter what. People will buy whole consoles for what PlayStation does, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, the thing about PlayStation that I think they actually need to focus on is improving their services. Because like Xbox, I was just having this conversation yesterday. A couple homies, me and my brother. Um, Xbox's services are leaps and bounds better than PlayStation's for the most part. Now, PlayStation now has a fire ass library. Why don't we know about it? You know what I mean? And I think I said this last podcast too, but my theory is the service itself is just not ready. I don't think it's really it might not be stable enough. It might not be as good as Game Pass, like structurally, but the games are there. So all in all, I think they just need to improve their services, and they won't have much to worry about. Yes, at some point, I do think, as sad as it makes my old ass heart to say, I do think there will be a point where consoles, not really completely phased out, but more of a niche item, and there's more of a service thing, like the thing that Xbox has been leaning towards for who knows how long and will continue to lean towards. It'll be more of a service based thing. I don't know if it'll be a little box that you plug in or like a Fire Stick type situation. I don't know if everybody, me personally, that HDMI port real estate is important. So I don't really see that. I see more apps on your TV, a la Netflix, Hulu, every other service that exists. It'll probably be an app that you can download on your TV, and boom, there's your games. As long as your internet's strong enough, get to that 5G. Don't worry about what your auntie is saying on Facebook. It's not gonna kill you. That's going to be the wave. But yeah, like I said, PlayStation should just improve their services, work on that. The games are already there. Keep doing what you do in that department, and just have a better like delivery method.
So I do want to. We have a couple of Xbox topics, but while we're talking PlayStation, I want to stay on PlayStation, right? Because they did have the PlayStation event today, and for some people, they kind of overhyped themselves. For a lot of people, they thought what we saw was absolutely amazing. So I do want to. I'm going to switch back over to you, Baron. Do you have a chance to watch the event today, B?
I watched a good portion of it, and I will say that was a very niche PlayStation. PlayStation. What do they call it? State of play.
Did you have a chance to watch the Forspoken gameplay?
That was better, but I don't know if it was because I was watching another person stream it. It seems like it's going to be a great idea that if you have the TV for, if you have the proper cables for, like I don't know, it just seems like it's ahead of its time. What they want to do, like they just really maxed out. I don't know if it's Unreal. Is it built in Unreal?
I'm not sure, but for those who missed it, I do have that playing for you guys right now.
I want to say it's going to be like a true test of how loud and how hot the PlayStation 5 is going to get. That's that. I think. Oh, can it run Forspoken? Like it just like, can you get max settings on Forspoken? That's what I think is going to happen. It looked better. It's just got so many particles and so much stuff happening.
Mm-hmm.
I imagine so much stuttering. Like it felt like it was stuttering during the trailer. Like, and I don't know if it was because I was watching it through somebody else streaming it, but it looked like it was struggling to get through its own presentation. And not because it's bad, it's just they're trying a lot and a lot's happening on a like in small areas. And then, I have a weird issue with clouds. Like the clouds look like Mafia 3 clouds. But but it's a weird thing. I'm playing a game like Valheim and it's got one of the best night skies I've ever seen. and weather systems, and then to see this game that clearly a lot of money is behind to have like okay clouds, it bothers me. It's super nitpicky, doesn't make a difference gameplay wise, but that's just an issue I have. But yeah, I'm glad they took the time with it, and I still think it's going to get delayed again.
I don't know, when we originally saw this gameplay, I was iffy on those frame rates as well. I was bothered. But Dallas, I want to go back over to you, man. I know you as well was excited for Forspoken. Cause I think, to me, this was the best thing we saw out of the day. In my opinion, this was the best thing we saw, was to be able to get more gameplay for this game right after it being delayed. But Dallas, I want to get your thoughts on what we saw today from Forspoken.
Man, the first time around, even with like frame drops and all, the first time around they showcased gameplay for this game, like I immediately went and dropped the video. Like I sat and tried to like break down what I saw and how I thought the gameplay would feel. But one thing I don't think I mentioned. Okay, so I don't know if this is going to be one of the stereotypical PlayStation bangers in the eyes of the like gaming community at large, but I do think it'll be a really good game. Like I think it's up my alley as far as the gameplay reminds me a whole lot of a mix between Control and Infamous.
Okay, I like that.
That's
Performance wise, there is a lot going on, and y'all know that particles can really affect the performance of a game heavily, right? And there is like, it's damn near all particles. Everything that's happening is just those sorts of effects. Her powers are like full of those effects. So on that end, I am a little worried about performance, but I think we are early enough in the console generation that I'm pretty sure the PS5 can take it. Like I'm pretty sure they're just not pulling out everything that console can possibly do. But in that same breath, and to play devil's advocate with myself, I'm pretty sure they don't know how to optimize these games for these brand new consoles just yet too. So I cannot say. But as for overall, like whether or not I think the game will be fire, hell yeah. Like do you see it? And I got a soft spot in this black ass heart of mine for black protagonists and black women protagonists.
Yes, sir.
Like that's not something we see a lot of, and so I'm super excited. And then I can't remember this lady's name. I never remember her. I always describe her as the black woman off Mad TV, but she's in it too, right? And everything she touched turned to gold. So like I'm kind of confident in the story because she's not in games with bad stories.
KP,
Like think about it.
Oh no, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I thought you would stop. My bad.
Oh yeah, I was like, think about it. Fallen Order, the Wolfenstein games. Like you don't see her in anything with a trash story.
That's facts.
Sure.
So I'm pretty sure she reads these scripts and goes and chooses like she would choose a show or a movie or something like that. So as far as that goes, and that's a chunk of what this game is going to be about. Yeah, the gameplay is important, but there's that mystery. They are like stoking that intrigue in you on purpose, and so I'm pretty sure the story is gonna be fire.
Really quick, I'm gonna go over to the chat here. Hustle and Motivates in the building. What's going on, Hustle? Appreciate you. Brandon Vernon says KPCJ. Shout out to you for coming through, man. D James says it reminds him of Final Fantasy 15 for some reason. I have 2 copies of Final Fantasy 15. I don't know how. I have it for PS4 and Xbox, and I've played neither copy. Right. So for those who have played it, do you guys see the Final Fantasy 15? Y'all think I'm
in some of the magic usage? Yeah, I can see that.
Oh yeah,
the environments, like the way the particles look, the movement itself is very like Final Fantasy 15.
But KP, while I got you here, man, I do want to get your thoughts on today's state of play while we still talking PlayStation, and more particularly what we saw with Forspoken.
So I'll be honest, I did not watch it. I was working and watching Judge Judy.
Judge Judy, sir.
Hey, Judge Judy don't play.
man.
Judge Judy still on TV?
The new one that's on.
No, on YouTube. Like,
okay.
Yeah, I got YouTube.
Like, wait, because I think she got a new one out.
Yeah, I did watch a little bit of it. I didn't see anything from Forspoken. And then just looking at the feedback on Twitter, it was like nobody really was talking about it. I guess, yeah, that's all I know.
Delay.
You know that,
Let's
that
be real. I hope so. Like I said this the first time we talked about this game. I hope it is delayed, and it's not just over the performance. It's mostly because
I don't have a PS5.
exactly. And yes, I'm that guy this time.
Yeah.
Let's keep
That's
it a buck. I hope it gets delayed into next year too, because I don't have a PS5. And then we're already hearing rumors. Okay, we're always hearing rumors. We're always hearing rumors that there's another PS5 in the works. Right?
Gasp.
And good luck trying to get that one. Depends on, you know, how things work. But with the way the world currently is right now, I just don't see. And that's what I'm afraid too. For a game like this to come out and sell. I mean, to come out and be PS5 only, and it doesn't meet expectations on PS5 only. Maybe this game should have as well been cross-generation, like God of War, like Horizon Zero Dawn. Because I'm sorry, I look at Horizon Zero Dawn on PS5, and you couldn't tell me that had to be a PS4 version. Like, you couldn't tell me that it was held back, right? So maybe that's my biggest fear, that's Forspoken, and maybe because I'm biased because it's a black lead and it's a black female lead, and not maybe because I am biased, right? My biggest fear is that a game like this doesn't meet its sales expectations, and then it's just another buried game in the graveyard. Now, granted, the game could just be bad. It could be a bad game. We don't know, but that's my biggest fear right now, because
be a bad game.
there's a lot of PlayStations out in the world, but a lot of them are still inside their boxes. I'm seeing scalpers come down their prices. I'm getting close. I've seen a couple of them for like $650. They coming down. I seen a couple for about $650. Even the Series X's coming down.
Just gotta outlast their warranty times.
Weigh them out.
Maybe in another
get a 5, like
maybe in another 5 years we'll get them at retail price.
I recently purchased a laptop, right? And at the place that I picked it up, I tried to also get a 5. Like, and mind you, they didn't even tell people they had them. I just happened to like get cool with the person that worked there, right? And he was like, "Oh yeah, we got them. So, you know, if you happen to need one, blah blah blah." I'm like, "Okay, cool. How much?" This man says, "Oh well, they probably gonna go for about 12, 13." What? What? And then he explained to me how much they actually paid for them, and I'm like, "Nah, no, yeah, no way."
Now, see, I love pawn shops. Don't judge me. I love them, right? I go get my tools from there. I love pawn shops. So I needed a couple of wrenches. I was working on some stuff, and I walked in, and it's right there on display, PS5. I was with my son, and I was like, "It's a damn PS5 in here." I was like, "I'm finna cop that, right? $1,000."
Light work.
Boy, I can get one from a scalper right now for $700. New. Why am I buying from a pawn shop for $1,000? I'm like, they must have paid.
Fame, you gotta understand, pawn shops are scalpers too.
They are. God dang it, they are.
Right.
They are.
It depends on
are.
what you're getting. It
what they
depends on
do.
exactly what you're looking for, and if you happen to know more about them about that thing. Like I'm a musician, so obviously I'm a pawn shop guy too, right? It really depends.
Pawn shops are underrated.
Individual video games, you for sure gonna get a good deal. But consoles, oh no, that's not happening.
I just wonder what that person sold that PS5. It got to be at least. I would hope they got over $500 for it. I would hope, and I'm telling you, I went back the next week and that PS5 was gone. So somebody bought it for $1,000.
And
Baron,
I kind
you're
of feel
muted.
them on that.
Probably more.
For something, no box, no warranty, just out of the box sitting that PS5. That or it was stolen. One of the two, but it was gone. I went back the next week because I went for a 15. I needed a 14. But
At the prices that I see them, like a lot of people try to sell them in bundles, and I refuse to buy a PS5 in a bundle because I'm not taking games that I don't want. Like them, they too expensive as it is. I'm not taking games that I don't want in a bundle. Like if it's like, you know, Ratchet and Clank, Demon Souls, Miles Morales, bet I'll grab that. But if you're trying to sell me Call of Duty, on a 5, no, I'm good. I appreciate you though.
Now the craziest thing is Best Buy. In order to get a PS5, you got to sign up for their Total Tech Support, which is a great service for certain people. But that's $200 on top of buying a console.
Oh man. But then
No,
that's
thank you.
$700. Okay, I'm likely to pay that if I find it there. every time I go to a Best Buy, they don't have a 5. But if I find it there for that price, all right, cool, maybe, whatever.
Hey, listen, y'all better than me, but Sinister Snips, man, you got last word on the Forspoken gameplay, and also your thoughts, if you have any, on the PlayStation event that was today.
I didn't watch PS Now or the State of Play. Sorry. Based on what my friends were saying, only real thing I saw people getting hyped for was the JoJo Fighter remake or whatever. And that's just because it's JoJo. That's kind of how that community works. Forspoken, from the first trailer I saw for this game, it looks cool. The second trailer still looks really cool. I'm not too worried about the performance issues. I don't know what build this trailer was made on and how old it was and all that kind of stuff. I'm not going to get into all that. I'm going to have faith in the devs to, get right by the time they get to their October release date. And if not, by all means, delay the game if you need to. People have got plenty of games to play. I'd much rather wait another couple months or a year for your game to come out and be good than have a Cyberpunk situation. I've said it time and time again. So take your time, get your game right. But if it's pulled off and there's no performance issues aside from minor stuff that you can't really deal with until launch anyway, I feel like it should be a really cool game. The story looks different enough. It's very stylistic, and the combat and the abilities look really, really cool. And the world looks very interesting and diverse and everything as well. So I think they've got a hit on their hands. They just got to cross their T's and dot their I's. So that's Forspoken to me has been the most out of any other Sony game I've seen thus far that makes me want to go buy a PS5 so I can play it. So I hope they do it right. I hope they do it justice, and I hope they don't rush, because I think they got a really cool game on their hands. It looks like it could be something awesome.
Shout out to the... My fault.
Oh, go ahead. No, you're good.
I just want to shout out to the folks that's watching, and I appreciate you guys coming through. Listen, we're going to switch. This is the closest thing I had to green, right? So we're taking out the blue for PlayStation. Yes, you can see my receding hairline because I refuse to go bald. So we're going green. Yeah, I got to join the crew eventually, right? But we're going green because we're switching topics.
Olive drab.
It's the closest thing I got to green right now, so this is what we're going with. So the blue
he got military camo on.
Yeah, that's the closest thing I got to green. Cause we're talking Xbox. We got Xbox topics for the remainder of the show. Listen, I'm not finna listen. Damn it, leave me alone. Leave me alone, okay?
That's fair.
So
That's fair.
we had a PlayStation event today, right? And a big topic on social media is, where is the Xbox news? It's been too quiet on Xbox. We heard about Activision Blizzard. It's been too quiet. So, I do want to go around the room and ask you guys, because I lost followers for this. I made a comment to say, you know what? Not to jump on a bandwagon, but it would be nice to have an event from Xbox, sort of like what we got today. It don't have to be all first-party stuff. It can be some third-party stuff. It could be Game Pass stuff. It'd be nice to have an event like this, a direct-style event. And so we don't have to wait until E3 and then wait until the Video Game Awards before we hear about what's coming for Xbox. So I do want to start with the homie KP. Your thoughts on there being a need for Xbox-style events?
They had something before, right? Was it like Inside Xbox?
Inside Xbox, and people hated it.
I hated it. The format was bad. And it consists of more of interviews and that stuff. And people, I mean, like, it was bad for people that don't care. Like, it was bad for the general public. Like, I don't want to hear people talk about their games, according to some people. They want to just see the gameplay, when it's coming out, when it's the release date, and like what it's gonna look like. It's gonna be on Xbox, Game Pass, and all that. I would say they need that, but in a way, like, this is kind of Xbox. Like, this first half of the year is always when Xbox takes a break. They're usually second half of the year because they know the holidays are when Americans go crazy and do their crazy stuff in the holidays. They spend lots of money. So Xbox has never really been big in the first few months of the year. So I can understand people want news, but only thing that's coming out of Xbox in the next like month or so is like Tunic, some more smaller games.
Hmm.
I'm pretty sure they're not gonna put their money and stuff into that. So, and they probably feel like, well, that's not worth having a show and getting Eric Greenberg to write up a plan to have a marketing whatever behind it. So, like, yes, I would like to see Xbox do more, but I think we see Xbox do more like right before E3, and then months leading into the holidays. So, and Sony is typically you get everything this first 6 months, and then holidays we might skimp off a little, and then once the new year come around, well, we're gonna load you up with games again. So it's, I mean, I can understand wanting the showcase thingy, but wanting Xbox to do something right now, I just it's not realistic based on their business practices.
Do you think it's more so because they don't think they have the style to do it, or is it the lack? I don't want to get killed. The lack of content to be shown. I know you brought up Tunic and other things like that, but to me, I would have loved an event that talked about possibly seeing, and we're gonna talk about this a little bit. Go ahead and release gameplay of Redfall because it's already being leaked all over the freaking internet, right? Go ahead and show that gameplay. Talk about games that are coming to Game Pass. You can break that news there. Do you think it's just a lack of they feel we need to get into 2023, 2024 when our studios are really pumping to have this type of show? Do you think it's lack of content or just purely we're gonna be bullheaded and we show stuff at E3?
I think it's just we show stuff at E3 and beyond that. Cause like we think of even like American companies in general, like Apple, they don't have their event until the second half of the year. Like most American companies have theirs, they do more stuff during like that holiday season. I'm just trying to see it from this point of view. But then you look at Samsung, which is a Korean based company, they present their new phone around this time, and it's just I guess it's just different business practices. Microsoft can do a showcase like that. Now they may not have any games coming out, but like they're gonna show that. But like, and sometimes they do announce games a little bit too early. They still have that problem of, hey, we're releasing this and this. Like, bruh, that game isn't coming out to
8 years from
2025.
now. Yeah.
Yeah, like Hellblade, we seen the pre like, but that game is probably not coming out till next year. So
Maybe
like,
even
it's
after
cool to see.
that.
Right. It's
Yeah.
cool to see, but like even how Insomniac were like, oh, we're making Wolverine. You're not gonna see gameplay, but we're gonna tell you guys it's not coming like in the next year or so. It's gonna be probably 2, 3 years down the line. But Microsoft has this tendency of showing gameplay sometime, and then we're still like 3 years out the way. So it's their fault that they kind of show things too far. Like if they stop doing that and kind of pull back in and be like, well, we have these games coming out. Let's do a showcase. Then we'll do another one. And then Sony always do their showcases around bigger games, their bigger titles, their bigger
Hmm.
exclusives like Horizon Forbidden West. They did a showcase there. Then they got Ghostwire Tokyo. That kind of was their thing for that.
We're gonna get a
And
big
then,
one for God of War for sure.
oh yeah, God of War is going to be big when they do that. Whenever they do that, if that don't get delayed again. But like Sony is very strategic. They're more strategic in, which is crazy, but that's just how. Like I took a Japanese business class. They do stuff way differently than American companies. You look at Sony's Twitter page, it is handled differently than Xbox Twitter page. Xbox is trying to be cool and
Yeah.
but Sony's like, this is gameplay. This is when it's coming out on Twitter. We are not responding to you. You just get what you get, and that's it. Xbox, oh, you playing this game? What games are you playing? Oh, try to make a joke. Let me post a meme. Okay, cool. Ha ha ha. Well, where are the games? And that's just how these two different like Nintendo is the same way. They just work differently. American business work differently than Japanese business.
You know what sucks, KP, is that Microsoft, even though for all its issues with Halo Infinite, right? They did just drop Halo Infinite. They dropped Forza Horizon 5, but they still have a stigma of no games. And that's because we hear about all of these studios that they have, and they do, but we're not going to see the fruits of that until 2023, 2024. And that sucks.
It does suck. It does. But I guess like I mean we wanted Microsoft to do that. It's just like the whole business, the idea behind it is like, well, we gotta wait. You can't create a game in like one day, so it's
That's
like a
true.
waiting process. Unfortunately, like that's just what it is, and I'm pretty sure. everybody's waiting for this Activision deal that everybody's like doom and glooming right now. But I'm pretty sure that's going to go through too.
Yeah.
But it's just the waiting game. It's just like Microsoft marketing needs to stop announcing things early and also figure out better ways to engage with their audience outside of Twitter memes.
And I'm sorry, I do believe that these leaks that come out of Xbox, you can't tell me this stuff ain't been done on purpose. It seems like you never hear about upcoming games being leaked from PlayStation, right? PlayStation insiders are old for 187. But damn it, it seems like every month Jeff Grubb has information about a game, because he broke the New Vegas 2 being in the works. So you're telling me Obsidian is not only working on Avowed, that's supposed to be 2023, 2024. They announced the Outer World 2, which at least they admitted that we got nothing about Outer World 2. We've let you know that we're making the game, right?
Yeah.
Funniest trailer ever. But it's like, hey, we're making the game. And they're possibly doing New Vegas 2. Like, that's wild. But B, I want to go over to you and talk more about these events. Do you think there's a gap with Microsoft with us having to wait for E3 and having to wait for the Game Awards to get announcements on these games?
I think doubling down and capitalizing on Game Pass, the best thing they could do is a Nintendo Direct style. Maybe they can drop one quarterly. Maybe they can drop one. Yeah, I think quarterly would be best, or every other month, because you could bolster what's going on, because there's a lot of hidden gems that get passed up in Game Pass simply because of lack of marketing. Just saying, like, I think that would be a good way to go through it, and I would say take a direct, like, a borderline mirror what what Nintendo does, like nothing too fancy. Give people maybe like a 6-day notice, like, if that, like, not even a full week. Like, don't make it a big, like, you're about to change the world, and then throughout it drop one or two gems, like, oh, and by the way, this title's coming out, and make sure whatever games you do showcase, it's either going to be on Game Pass that day, or it's going to be or it's going to launch day and date on Game Pass within the next month. Like, really showcase how many deals you're making in terms of acquiring games to put on Game Pass, and whatever titles with all those studios you're working on, just to be, like, there, because you look bad. Like, they look bad. You got all these studios, and your flagship title that's on the box of the console is still in shambles. Not shambles, but it's not what they promised.
It's
co-op. It's shambles. Yeah,
KP said shame the devil. KP said shame the devil. It's in shambles.
No, I just thought about that, because co-op just got pushed back. How do you push back co-op on story mode for one of the most iconic games that, even as somebody as me who didn't really play many shooter stories, I remember running as the Arbiter and Spartan, like in Halo 2.
Fighting your cousin over who was going to be who.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember this. This was memorable. Like, oh, drive, I want to sit on the side of the tank. Like, cross the bridge, I want to shoot. Like, all of these things, they hold special places in for me. So, yeah, like, you gotta give the people something. Like, you kind of have to. And even if it's just simply highlighting what exists in a fancy, 20-minute way. Like, I'm serious. When I say, I literally want them to mirror Nintendo Directs. Like, hey guys, and for example, like, oh, on the 14th, we're going to have a Direct, and it's going to be 20 minutes. Keep your expectations low. We're just going to showcase what's going on.
Boom.
That's it.
Drop a couple of games.
Hell, they could drop a new controller design every time. Like, bro, I mean, just serious, because it garners some goodwill, and it looks like you're doing something, even though we know you're doing something, but it gives the look of you're doing something. And we all know perception matters.
I'm gonna move on, because we do got. I'm gonna go to Dallas and Snips on this topic, but we do got one more topic that kind of blends into this one, so it kind of works out perfectly. But Dallas, I do want to go over to you and your thoughts on the gap that we're apparently seeing between Microsoft Xbox and the games that are not being shown at the moment? Like, is there a need for Nintendo does it, PlayStation does it, Xbox doesn't?
Yes and no. I'm kind of two minds about this because on one hand, Baron is absolutely right. Like, I mean, you got so many gems on Game Pass. Like, if I don't see some type of little, hey, look, Young Souls is on here. I didn't really hear too much about Aerial Knights Never Yield being on there, and it's some games with gold too. And it's criminal that a game with that big a sort of cult following, and like a game that we attach to us and that we hoist up on our shoulders because the dev is so fire, and just off the strength of him being of the culture, like that doesn't get put on. It don't have to get put on a pedestal necessary, but definitely front and center when there's nothing else new. It's kind of crazy that doesn't happen. So a showcase of, hey, look, this is what's on Game Pass, just a little 10-minute video showing a little gameplay and moving on would be enough. However, on the other hand, Fame was right. Gamers are fickle as hell. Like, super fickle. Because if they drop some news you don't like, or if they don't show nothing new, no big like AAA banger, y'all gonna be like, dang, Xbox still ain't got no games. Oh, they showed their little trash, they ain't got nothing to their name. Like, it'll be that. And so on one hand, I could see if they were to feel like you can't win for losing, they just would rather not show anything unless it's something impressive, especially considering what was just said about Halo, because that's true. How do you launch without multiplayer, without co-op? Even though the multiplayer coming standalone and being fire, like I can't take that away from them. The multiplayer being an absolute banger. It helps, but it also hurts because the same game, like the campaign of that same game, whereas you can normally play with your homies, with your friends, with your cousin, in my case, you can't really do that here, and that was needed early on.
It was supposed to come out a year before launch.
Yep. Imagine what we would have got.
I want the documentary. I need the documentary about Halo.
We'll get that 10 years from now.
I need it.
Snips.
But yeah, I mean,
my bad.
Y'all feel cool as hell because y'all will be on their ass if they show something. As much as I want them to showcase stuff on Game Pass, people will act as if that's the only games that they have on the pipeline.
Microsoft gets no break. Snips, before the last topic, you got the last word.
I mean, we kind of spoke about this a couple episodes ago as far as Microsoft releasing some kind of periodic state of things. For me personally, I don't really care. I don't keep track of that stuff too much. If there's a cool game coming out or something, I'm going to catch the trailer after I see people talking about it. I'm not the person who watches the event live usually, but that's me personally. Do I think Microsoft has potential to put out some kind of periodic thing? Absolutely. Do I think they have the ability to execute that? Absolutely. But for me, it's more about, I don't care about a set frequency. I don't need it to be every quarter. I don't need it to be every 2 weeks. I need it to be, tell me something when you have something to say. I'd much rather you make sure that each one of these things that you do has some measure of impactfulness to it, rather than just, well, it's been 90 days, so we're here to talk to you again, even though we don't have much to say that we didn't say last time. Because game development takes time. That's how these things work. So for me, it's set your frequency based on when you have something to say. And you definitely have more content than just saving everything for E3. And the danger of putting all your eggs in that one basket. I mean, that means you have to have a Grand Slam E3 every time. Otherwise, people are going to be so pissed off that they waited an entire year for you to showcase something that wasn't really that cool. So that's the risk you take by saving all your stuff for one event every year. So determine your frequency based on when you have something cool to tell me. Frame your event properly. Give me a heads up. Hey, this is going to be gameplay heavy. Hey, this is going to be trailer heavy. Hey, this is going to be interview heavy. Just tell me. I don't want you to, spoil your event and tell me the specifics, but let me know what I should be expecting. So that way, if I'm a big gameplay person, oh, cool, this one's about gameplay, I should tune in. If I'm a big interview with devs person, oh, this is focused on interviews with devs. That's really cool. And that's kind of your recipe for success right there. It doesn't need to be super production heavy. Like, you have the tools and assets at your disposal. Microsoft, you've got all these people in house already. You can give them a project. And then the one main thing I think I would like to see a little bit more regularly from Xbox, just because there is so much on Game Pass that goes overlooked. Every now and then, and again, I'm not going to give you a set frequency schedule or anything like that, but I think it'd be cool to have like when a new game hits Game Pass, or like something that's receiving really good reviews but hasn't been played by that many people, do like a Game Pass spotlight kind of deal and be like, hey, here's a lead dev from the team who made this game that's on Game Pass right now. And like, give me like a 10-15 minute deal of them sitting there playing the game and like talking to us about it as they play it. So they can like give us some introspective into how the dev process works, or like, man, when we were making this level, we had a discussion about this and this, and it was really cool. Like, spotlight some of those games that could be bigger hits for you on that service that we just don't know about because there's so much out there that our eyes are glossing over it. I think there's a lot of potential for something like that there, and I think it would be a very low cost, low risk kind of thing to do. So I think that could be a big player for him as well. But yeah, those are my main takes. Tell me when you have something to say.
Last but not least, and it ties into this, right? For those of you who have been watching, if you guys have noticed, I've been playing lots of Redfall gameplay, right? Redfall, as we know, was announced last year, and it was supposed to come out this summer, right? To me, summer is in 2 months, right? We've yet to see any official gameplay. Now, I won't show this on screen because I'm not finna get the video taken down by ZeniMax, because they are taking things down off of YouTube. However, if you guys remember, and I posted some screenshots not too long ago about some images that were leaked from an alpha that was happening for this game. Just recently, there was some beta footage that, again, I won't post here. I'll post a link to someone who has it up on their Twitter if you guys want to check that out. But I know my panel has had a chance to look at it, even though that person's PC was running that thing at 2 frames per second. My point is, and I want to start with you, KP. I'll go over with you, KP. Why not just release, if you have beta, if the game is in a beta form, why hasn't no one chopped up any gameplay and released it? This is a perfect example of, you have a game that's supposed to be releasing this summer. Why have we not seen any official gameplay of this title? Why not having an event style thing with gameplay reveal of Redfall? I'm gonna start with you, KP. What's the excuse? Is KP muted?
I'm here now.
Oh, we got him. We got him.
People say this always. I think you mentioned it earlier, like these leaks and stuff, like they're on purpose. So, I mean, sometimes I believe it. Sometimes with certain things, like it only happens to certain companies, and they're usually American companies, where there's a leak, and people start talking, and then next thing you know, this company's going to be like, "Hey, this is coming out this time." So I think, I mean, yeah, they definitely need to either a beta but Bethesda has that whole tree with Bethesda has always been big on waiting until like, well, we're going to show you this gameplay and we're going to release it. So they kind of have been very good about gameplay, release date, and there we go. So like somebody said, shadow drop it at E3. Now that'll be dope. They say, hey, Redfall is coming out as soon as our E3 conference is over. It's going to be available on Game Pass right now, and that will be huge.
It will be.
Microsoft's just, I don't know. I guess we just in that space now. They don't have any big titles coming. We just gotta wait. It's another waiting game because we waited with the Xbox One to see Microsoft putting the money in there because we know Microsoft has the money. Now we see them put the money. Now we gotta wait till the developers start creating these games. And like even with Halo, I deleted Halo Infinite. Because I got the campaign. The campaign was lovely, but then it's like, well, I gotta wait how long to get co-op, or I gotta wait how long to get 2 maps for season 2 to start out. So I deleted that. So it's just like, I don't know. I'm kind of confused. Like after that holiday season, that holiday period, I'm kind of confused about the roadmap where Xbox is going. I don't know what's next. to be honest. So even with this Redfall thing, I I don't know why they just won't be like, hey, like you said, let's drop some gameplay since it's being talked about, or is this is their way of like letting this be talked about? So who was I don't know who was playing the game on their PC at the time. Was that like a Bethesda or
No, it looked like there because to me, because I work for this company, I play a lot of games that I can't talk about. You're not supposed to show video gameplay of you playing. I'm not sure how I'm sure they got a hold of it for someone who was playing it in that way, beta testing it, and they got something over to them, and they were showing it on their PC because that wasn't like in a podcast type setting.
Oh, okay. So, I mean, well, people are talking about the game again because I forgot about it. So now it's being talked about. If it's supposed to come out this summer, like someone said, shadow drop it in Game Pass. Not a shadow drop it after the E3 showcase. Hey, Redfall is now available to all Xbox Game Pass subscribers. That would be huge. That'd be a mega drop. But it's like I'm confused about Xbox roadmap for this year. I don't know what like I don't know what's coming out outside of Forza and now Redfall.
Yeah, well, Starfield comes out November.
Oh yeah, Starfield.
That's the big game of the year. But I do want to go over to UB because again, if I'm Arcane Studios, if I'm Bethesda, and this footage is being shown, but it's not being shown how I wanted it to be seen, right? It's been shown, it's some choppy gameplay from somebody's, 750 Ti PC. It's barely visible. If this game is truly supposed to come out this year, and I'm gonna get to the chat here in a second, there's a lot of people talking in the chat. If it's supposed to come out this year, at this point, why not release gameplay to show it how you want it to be seen? And this kind of goes to, hell, it'd be nice to have an event to reveal this gameplay and not let some rando on YouTube do it. I don't think we got it. Oh, there we go.
No, I'm back. You know what? It's they really do like clearly take hints from folks who are successful at these things. Take this game that you spotlighted, that you ended your whole presentation at E3 with. Right? It was the last game at the last E3.
It was the one more thing at their but it wasn't E3, it was the Xbox showcase. That's the type of showcase that they showed.
Yeah, they had a showcase.
I believe that that was this game. It might have been E3 though, but go ahead. I'm sorry.
You are bold. You feel bold enough about it that you walked away on a high note with this game. Mm-hmm. So make a showcase around it. Take a note from Sony. Make a complete showcase. Like, just do it. Take 20 minutes. Have the developer sit there and talk about it. Show the game. Show some story elements and gameplay. And then end with some gameplay, at least 5 minutes, and then
if Xbox did a 20-minute thing around Redfall, and they get 5 minutes, you're gonna it will go back to what Dallas was saying. You're gonna piss off the community.
Oh yeah, you're gonna take an L regardless because one, if they did 20 minutes of pure gameplay, it's gonna get picked apart, a la Craig. Like if you do, so you're gonna take an L regardless, but take one that you can build off of. Set a precedence. Like, hey, for every big title that we're gonna get, we're gonna do these breakdowns. Like it works for Sony, and it can work for Xbox. Like you have to do it. I think that's a fight worth fighting. Like, oh, he going in.
He fussing. Look at him.
But yeah, so
he's talking to his son for sure. If it was his daughter, he'd be all doughy eyed and smiling.
Yeah. Okay, so Dallas, Redfall, do you think they need to do something like right now?
I mean, I think you should get out in front of it. Like, I mean, it's already out there. The thing is, do they have to? Is it now just because everybody's talking about it? Because apparently this leaked before, like the same exact
footage before. Yeah, this is the second time I've seen word of it.
Yeah, so they said last September. Who knows where it's at now? Like, just looking at like a raw still, that doesn't have a enemy character in it, like the one that doesn't have an enemy in it, it looks pretty good, all things considered. Like who knows where it's going to be, and anybody that's ever played a playtest knows that they are aggressively more trash than the final game. Like just, I mean, in the worst way. And it's kind of how it's supposed to be. So it's crazy that people are like already roasting this as if it's the final product, going, "Oh yeah, I knew it was going to be trash." And I mean, in all honesty, I hope not. But if it is, what you see here won't be the reason why exactly. This is not an indication of the final game. So yeah, I do think maybe get out in front of it. But they are basically just doing the same standard thing everybody else does: scour the internet, snatch down every video you can, and pretend it never happened.
Listen, I do want to say I see all the chats for the people coming through. I'm gonna read some of these off really quick before we have to end the stream, because apparently it's chaos in my household right there. I do apologize about that. A couple of people in here. I just lost it here. It was Old Man Logan saying Baron got the Oculus Quest. Yes, indeed. Old Man Logan said Redfall hella getting delayed. Jason Max says Zenimax wanting to keep Redfall gameplay a secret. It might be a good sign that it's going to be good. Scalise. I'm bad at pronouncing stuff. Redfall with Shadow Drop at E3. I'm calling it. Jason Max said Deathloop launched in September, and they didn't reveal gameplay until June. Listen, you guys are freaking amazing for coming out. I do hate that I have to end the stream here. I was hoping we can go maybe another 5 to 10 minutes longer. But unfortunately, I got to take care of some things. But you guys are freaking amazing for coming out. Do us a big favor, hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Get your gaming news from lv1gaming.com. Oh, wait a minute. With all of that said, congratulations. You guys leveled up to 193. This is a double XP podcast. See you guys next Wednesday. Have a good one. Peace.